Hello, everybody, and welcome to Beyond BMR. Of course, I'm your host, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. How's everybody doing tonight? Glad to see you all coming on in. Have a pretty cool show for you today, as always. Joining me in Studio B from the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast, Miss KRISTA joins me, as always, every Tuesday night. I can't jump ahead that quick in the week. It's Tuesday night. Thanks to KRISTA for coming on in. Thanks for all of you for coming on in. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob on YouTube. The Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. Texas Front Porch found on YouTube. Thank you for that really quickly. Don't really give out the show dates or times. We're on every day during the week. I'm on Tuesday nights at 9, Thursday afternoons at 1, Saturday at midnight. KRISTA, Brand, you're on. Well, they're on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9, 8, and 9 in the East. Texas on Monday at 8 in the East. And of course, check us on out. Check out our about pages, on our YouTube profiles. Don't forget the Super Chat's open. A great way to support what we do around here. You can become a BMR pirate. Join today. Join the many, join the few. Depending on one's point of view, I guess. You can check that out. You get a picture of me with a bandana next to your name in the chat room. Yay. And I'm also going to be doing some members-only shows here coming up pretty shortly here. I just got to figure out what days to do that on, being on almost 3 days a week. And then sometimes I'm on the Blondes, sometimes I'm on text, and this, that, and the other. So it's just a matter of figuring it all out. So thanks for that. Also, really quickly, Halloween's coming. Halloween's coming up pretty closely here. In fact, I titled this show Shocktober. October is one of my favorite months, you guys. Football season started, and I love Halloween. I start celebrating getting into the Halloween. I get all geek for Halloween starting this month. So with that being said, maybe you can run on down to your Amazon browser. Got 2 books out there. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters. Book 2, which has been out for almost 2 months. Book 1's been out for over a year. Type Bigfoot, Michigan Rob in your Amazon browser. Leave a review. It helps promote sales. And, of course, you see at the bottom of this, you can find us on Spreaker. You can find us on any podcast platform. So check us out on podcast versions as well. So thanks for everybody for doing that for us. And with that being said, I'm going to bring up the lovely KRISTA.
Hello.
What's up?
You see it. Here I am.
There you are.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. Woohoo. I was saying that I don't have a guest slated for tonight because I've got, starting next Tuesday, I got a whole bunch of cool guests for Halloween. I got Dennis Carroll next Tuesday. D.A. Song the Tuesday after that, talking about her new book, Cryptid Warfare or something of that. It's really cool. And then Varla Ventura, the mysterious Varla Ventura. So we got some great shows slated. So I just wanted to kick off today's show. We'll just kick it today.
Heck yeah.
I got a few things to, chat about, rap about with our awesome audience. Sit down in the chat room. But much like you.
I was going to say, we're never at a loss for words, so it's all good.
Never at a loss for words, and people like when we just, kick back and chill. Like the Saturday night show is pretty cool. People like that, and it's so hard though. I gotta tell you, when you try to get book guests, this, KRISTA, it's getting good guests on. It's challenging. A lot of people, you catch them, and a lot of people that we get might be out ghost hunting. They might be out looking for Bigfoot, so it's hard to pin them down, but we do a good job across the spectrum. And I don't like to have a guest on every show.
Right.
Just hanging out is cool. And I've got to tell you, I'm pretty geeked because, of course, the Lions won on Monday night, which was awesome. And then, the Detroit Tigers won the first playoff game today, this afternoon. We haven't been in the playoffs in 10 years, so that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And so it's a good start to the week. And thus far. What about yourself? Your week off to a good start, or
it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's actually a short week for me this week and next week, so makes it. These short weeks that you work, they seem longer, but it's really not.
That's weird. Yeah.
Hmm.
Or, you know, if you work a short week, you seem to be a little more tired, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
few days.
So I'm off Friday, and then I have so much PTO time to use. I don't use it. I hoard all my stuff, and I make up my hours like after hours. You know, I'll bring my work home, or I'll work on weekends or something, because I don't know why, I just will not come off them PTO hours. So, but I need to, and I actually am going to use them the week of Christmas to New Year's. I actually took off that whole week, and I'm not going to work that week. So,
Oh, Christmas and New Year's, both of those.
yep.
Yeah.
I took off that whole week. So that'll give me 40 that I've used. And I think I'm up to like, I don't know, like 160 something hours.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I know you know, don't, yeah. I mean, you do work like, well, you work like from home and then you go into work too, right?
I do both. Yeah. Most of the time I go in, but you know, like I said, if I want to make up hours, if I leave it, like my work is so relaxed. I have the best job. I really do. I have the best boss. Like I pretty much come and go as I want, you know, as long as my work's done, which it always is, you know, I do my own thing.
Yeah. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I mean, yeah, you know, you and I were talking about being a little bit tired for whatever the
Mhm.
reason. And I was just thinking about something. I think I get worn out. It's October, right? It was 78 degrees here and storming
Mhm.
all day, you know, and I got to thinking, well, you and I were talking a little bit earlier today about this weather. You know, I remember even in October, it was when I was a little kid growing up, October, it was already cool. I mean, where I live, we still have full leaves on the trees. The leaves have not even started to fall,
Mhm.
you know, to the ground. And I would always remember as a kid, um, my dad, one of the worst chores that I had as a little kid growing up, me and my brother, my dad would always make us rake the leaves. And but it was always cool because then we'd make a big pile of leaves and we just jump in them, you know, and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
then when Halloween got close, my dad would get these ratty, you know, overalls, and you know, he would stuff the clothing with the leaves and make a body and put a creepy
Yeah.
mask on it and stuff like
Right.
that. And I got to tell you, those are cool days growing up. Today, the leaves don't fall where I live until damn near Thanksgiving, if you're lucky.
Really. Yeah. It's end of October, 1st of November here.
You know, and then I was also referring back to around Christmas time. We don't get any snow until like damn near end of January. Because I remember again being a kid that we had like 4 snowmen built and 4 igloos built mid-December.
Yep.
And so and like today it's 78 degrees and it's humid.
Mhm.
And I
I'm telling
think,
you, like this weather is crazy. It's same here though. It's really nice here today. I actually sat outside this evening because it's so nice out.
yeah, well, when the fall comes, I do like sitting out in the evening. It's nice and cool. I mean, I'm one for the summer and I like going out like May, June.
Hmm. What's your low going to be tonight?
Our low tonight is going to, well, actually, it's going to be 58.
We got you beat. We're getting down to 45 tonight.
See, I like that though.
Not me.
58 here, you know, it's too cold.
That's cold. Yeah,
See,
I
I
am
need it.
not ready for this.
Well, I
No.
still have my AC on. It's still hot in my house,
Oh,
even though it's going down to
perfect.
50. You know, I don't like hot. You like it hot in the house?
I do only because I get cold real easy. I don't like the cold at all. I don't like to be cold. Period.
See, I get hot really, really quick.
Yeah.
I sometimes sweat if I don't have the AC on.
Right.
You know, the back of my head, I sometimes wake up and my pillow's wet. I mean, I must wash my
Yeah.
pillowcase like every 2 days. Pillowcases, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Understand.
So,
It's
so
crazy.
I can't even wear the covers, and I dig wearing the covers. I got all these comforters to wear that I can't wear because I sweat. You
You
know.
know, we were talking tonight, me and the girls, everybody, we were talking that, you know, it's been known to snow here on Halloween. So we'll see. It's beautiful weather now, but by the end of the month, we could have snow.
Well, that would be great. I'm not going to see snow, like I said, till January. I'm not. That's how it's
Yeah.
been for at least the last
Right.
decade.
Right.
Which got me to thinking, and you and I were talking about this. Do you think anything you think that it's just a natural deterioration? I know the ozone layer is gone naturally.
Hmm.
And I was reading up on that, where that really starts in the polars, at the North Pole,
Yeah.
you know, and you have that greenhouse effect and all these gases that are
Hmm.
released into the air naturally is causing the the disturbance in the stratosphere. As I was reading up on, I learned a new word, the stratosphere, right? You know, I thought that was a ride at Cedar Point. I remember last time I went, it was this, or
Yeah.
that's also the needle at I think in Las Vegas. They have the stratosphere as well.
Yeah.
So and I
Crazy.
knew I knew it had something to do with outer space, but until I started reading. And did you know, I did read this though, that we do one thing that the government admits to doing is they do create rain and snow, and they have the ability to do that with the clouds,
Hmm.
sending lasers.
Well, what's really weird is, so on Facebook, it's one of Nellie Turner's groups, and she had posted in there about there was another Hurricane Helene in 1958, and it was like a Category 4, just like it mocked this last one, and it was huge devastation. Like, now that's weird,
It
No, I'm
is.
saying because there's a lot. I don't believe in coincidence, but
I know,
there's too
I don't
many
either.
things that was like the same. I was reading that and I'm like, holy cow. Yeah.
It often makes me wonder. There's been more hurricanes in the last decade than ever. There's
Hmm.
been more earthquakes. Knock on wood, not here in the United States, but all these other countries.
Yeah.
And I just seen that Greece just today. I seen on like Instagram or whatever it was. I was flipping through the phone, and they got this major flood surging through the cities in Greece, which is literally washing away people's
Awful.
homes.
Yeah, exactly what happened here in North Carolina and Tennessee and all these other places. It's awful. And so do you think that the three-letter agencies, like, okay, so you got this hurricane from 1958. Everything about it is mocks this current hurricane, including the name, and I think the dates are right there too. So do you think that is man-made? Like you said you heard that they can make rain and snow. Do you think they can make a hurricane? And that all of this is because of that?
I wouldn't put it past anything that science can do today.
Hmm.
I think they can do whatever they want to do today.
Yeah.
Of course, I typed in the computer today, does the government control the environment or the weather? And of course it said no, the government does
Of
not.
course that. Yeah.
But it gave out the cool tidbits about what the government does. And I found this thing. It says, however, lasers can be used to control the weather. Researchers are making progress in this area. They can create clouds. Or lasers can create new clouds by inducing condensation, which in the process of turning water
Mhm.
vapor into droplets and ice crystals. They can also do this and formulate and have snow. They can also trigger lightning. Lasers can trigger lightning strikes. And that goes on with all this scientific mumbo jumbo. And then, of course, at the end, it says that the government only uses the creation of clouds and rain is to water crops.
Right.
Well, they don't do that in the United States, but they do it in Australia, China,
Right.
about 20 other countries. And
Right.
I'm like, well, okay, if we can manipulate the clouds and create water
That's what
and
I'm saying.
rain, how come we don't do it here, though? I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. Don't do it for natural disasters, which I think we can get on. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what about our poor farmers that
Right.
are losing money because it
Right.
doesn't rain at the
Because of a
appropriate
drought.
time?
Yeah.
All these droughts we got here in the US, we'll give billions of dollars to third world countries, which I know
Right.
they need help, or our enemies, but yet they won't help our poor farmers out that are suffering and losing
Right.
money. Yeah, they admit they can create rain and control the rain, but during time of famine for our farmers, they don't help them out. I find that to be odd.
You and me both. You and me both. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. I really don't believe in coincidence. And I think they can help the farmers if they want to, but they don't want to. You know,
Yeah,
there's a bigger picture here at work.
Yeah, brown dwarf is cloud seeding. Yep,
Cloud
correct.
seeding, absolutely. Yep.
You know, so
Mm-hmm.
that's fine and good. You know, again, I think technology is wonderful. It's
Mm-hmm.
to our, it can help us, and it's also a detriment.
Right.
But why, if we can do this, hey, listen, help out the U.S., help out the farmers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, help out lands that have these serious droughts.
Yeah, but they don't. That's the thing. You know, I can go on and on a
I
soapbox.
can't too. Well, I can't too. And here's the thing. You know, do you think then? Here's the thing. If they can do that, they can control tornadoes. I mean, look
Everything.
at the tornado outbreak. Maybe it
Everything.
wasn't this year, but a couple of years ago, wasn't there like 85 tornadoes in like a month in like somewhere in the Midwest?
Yeah.
I forget what state, Kansas. I know there was terrible ones that ran through. Oh boy, what was that state? I forget. They're all huddled together down there.
Well, look. Think about it though.
Tornado.
They tried to control us with a disease, with a sickness,
Yeah.
and now you know that didn't work. So now are they trying to control us with the weather, tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding?
Yeah. I mean,
It just
you
things
can't
that make you go, we can't prove it. We can't. It's just
can't prove nothing, and I don't, and I understand this. I understand that the planet Earth, it's been here for billions of years, and I get all that. And the planet's been destroyed at least a half a dozen times in billions of years.
right.
But you really think that it's this is all just natural? How can it be everything that's happening these as a natural progression if you use science? I don't buy it
I don't
100%.
either. I don't either. That's what I'm saying. Which leads me to believe, like if they can control like the weather and things like that, what else do they have and are they hiding that, makes you go, In other words, like the cryptids and aliens and things like that.
Yeah, and really quickly, Poncho, Vincent J. Schaefer, 1946, was the first successful cloud seeding. Made huge towers, fires, and aluminum oxide. The government plays a lot of control in this. I told you the story about there's God, we can go all over with this. Mind control.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about, they were saying that there's a stretch of road in a part of Oakland County, which is our richest county in Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
where there's the average person over there is like, they make a lot of money. They're the people that live in mansions, a lot of them. Okay.
Yep.
And they're prim and proper. They wear suits to work. They drive the Mercedes Benz. It's kind of like our Beverly Hills, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a section a few years ago, about a decade ago, this big tower went up. Well, at first, no one thought it was a tower, but it was odd because it was a big, giant Christmas tree. And from the distance, it looks like a Christmas tree. And even if you get up close to it, it looks like a Christmas tree. But everyone thought that lived there that this is kind of odd, how it just appeared almost like overnight as well. When you build something to that magnitude of a tower,
Right.
you see the building, you see, the process. It takes months.
Right.
And you see the men out there, the cranes, you see the workers.
Mm-hmm.
This happened like pop up like overnight.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's this big 120 foot, maybe not
Right.
that tall, 90. I don't know how tall it is, 90 feet. I've seen it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So, as it turns out, it was a radio tower. Okay, fine and dandy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not a big deal. I mean, technology. We're figuring it's a big supercell or tower supercell like a tornado, but no, like for our. For our phone, the E5 or whatever, the new phones, so blah, blah, blah. So researchers was having that ever since that tower went up, that traveled part of the freeway here in where I live. Not where I live, but about an hour away from me. That's not, and we're not talking about the freeways that run through the inner cities either of Detroit, where there's murder like rampant. Okay,
Right.
there's like people on the freeways shooting people.
Wow.
What's it, road rage? You know, this is
Hmm.
the number one travel stretch of road where there's road rage. People in suits are getting out of their cars and shooting at each other.
That's
Now,
crazy.
now the theory is that there's some sort of mind control going on as you're driving through this part of town, that the government is manipulating everyone's, they're playing games with our minds and making people do these things. Because the people that got arrested, a lot of them went through psychiatric to the doctor, and there was brain studies done on some of these people. Why is this man that's a millionaire, why is he pulling out a gun and shooting somebody?
Wow.
And why is fire being returned? And so they did an independent study. This has been going on as to why. Average, nice, good people, right?
Yeah.
It's not because they're rich and they're crazy. They're, if you're rich, why am I going to risk my career shooting someone just
Right.
because there's some road rage, right? Why would I do that?
Right.
Well, there's some theories that suggest that it's the government playing tricks on our minds to see if they can control us for other deviant activities moving forward, with spies,
I would
controlling our
agree.
spies,
Mhm.
right? You know, we've all seen the movie with what's that popular guy, Matt Damon, with all the spy movies. What was he? What's the
Yeah, I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, it
It's a
slips
good
my
movie. I
mind.
can't think what it's called,
They're,
but
it's a good series,
hmm
but that was mind control. Why these
yeah,
guys are like super. The movie's far fetched. A lot of things the guy can do. However, I don't think that's all that far fetched. I think there are
later.
superhumans. I think we have superhumans that can do a
Hmm.
lot of these things.
Yep.
But it's because it's created by science.
Yeah, exactly. They were made. Jason Bourne. That's it. Jackie said. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah.
Jason Bourne. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the movies are far fetched. That's unbelievable. A human being cannot do that. But
Is
I
it
am not. But
far-fetched?
is it that far fetched? I was doing some research on some things. A lot of stuff that Hollywood gets today. Hollywood is weird now. Hollywood is so.
Mhm.
To me, I think it's more evil than anything. It's not like it was back in the golden era
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
1950s, right?
Yeah.
Today it's just a mess. But a lot of these producers, they get these movies, these ideas are not just great imaginations. A lot of creative talent. A lot of it's derived from what we know is going on in the world today, in reality.
Hmm.
So a lot of these fictional movies and characters that we see in the movies,
Are
they're
they
not. Is it really all make believe? A lot
right?
of it's far fetched. A guy jumping out of an airplane without a parachute on, and surviving and catching the criminal and using his parachute. No, I don't think anyone can do that.
No.
But a lot of these, even like the Matrix, programming the mind to do all these crazy things.
Yeah.
I learned, you can learn 100 different martial arts in a minute with a
Right.
download.
Right.
How do we know that
says, Jojo says that movie isn't fiction.
Oh, really? Jason Bourne? Well,
Yeah. Interesting.
that movie.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm telling you, like I think there's a bigger force at play here. They tried to knock us down, like I said, with sickness, and that didn't work. And now, I think they're trying to control the population. I think they're trying to get rid of
New World Order. I believe that exists.
Mhm.
And I get into that. Padre Zors, they control us by those who we worship. Professional athletes, entertainment industry, pharma, auto, etc.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean,
And now they'll be putting chips in our brains. Jackie said.
well, they've already tried. Well, babies, they want to do that with babies right at the onset of birth.
Wow. Yeah.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, people ask me who you're voting for and this, that, and the other. It's like, first of all, there is no such thing as government today, right?
Nope.
There's no Republican or Democratic Party today.
Nope.
I think that me and Jason did a whole series on something that we called They, just THEY. It's about people we don't know that actually control the world. The trillionaires that live on their billion-dollar islands,
Absolutely,
who nobody knows, who fund and control our government. Because I do believe that the world is going to be, they want to control our population. They just want one socioeconomic environment and society, and that's it. and it's their way,
Yeah.
and they control it.
Exactly.
They want
Exactly.
to eliminate the poor and the middle class, and just have their. It almost reminds me of back in Nazi Germany, just having the race, right?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Oh,
it's more out there than you think, and if you really sit down and you think about all of these things, it's so true. Even like Pancho just said, we finance our own demise, buy local, made in USA. Well,
yeah, I mean, everything you buy, says made in China.
hmm
We, our auto industry. I love the auto industry. Don't get me wrong. Grew up in it, but
yeah.
my American car that I bought, my doors were made in Mexico. It
Yeah.
says it right out. It says right on the door. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Right. So what's wrong with this picture? Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. It's just crazy. I just feel like that, we're pawns in this game.
we're just little nobody's peons. And
Yeah.
as far as the big C, the big COVID, that
Yep.
was planned, of course, to see what they can get away with.
And I even believe you know, possibly even like cancer, because I read somewhere that they have a cure for it.
I
Why
knew
isn't it out?
I knew that 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
You
There's a cure
know?
for cancer.
Yeah. So what is
They
that?
want
It tells you
they,
everything you need to know. It's a big pharmas.
well, they want us to die.
Right.
They want Big Pharma to make their $1 billion industry, right?
Yep.
Because I think it's ridiculous. And I'll tell you guys just a little story. My mom's medications, if it weren't for me helping her out, because her insurance don't pay for this, my mom's medical is like $2,300
Wow.
a
That's
month.
crazy. hmm And if you don't
And
mind me asking, does she need that medicine to survive?
that's the thing. I'm not so sure she does.
hmm
No, not all that. No, some of it's paid by insurance.
hmm
That's the total bill, but they don't pay all of it.
Yeah.
So good old BMR has to, which I don't mind. It's my mom.
Yeah.
But
Well, like
really,
JoJo just said, more money in keeping people sick, needing meds. That's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have the cure. The cure for cancer is out there, but then they'd lose out on all these billions of dollars.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, I think it's a way to control the population.
It is. They want a number.
Mhm.
They have a number in mind where they want this world at. Now, it's not going to happen during our lifetime, Krista.
I think they
Pro-
started it way back in the 80s with AIDS.
Mm, well, a word I haven't heard in a long time, but that's a great point.
Yeah, I do.
You know, and of
So,
course, in another decade, there's going to be something else. Hopefully, that's going to be worse than COVID.
mhm.
It's just going to be manufactured by somebody,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
going to blame
crazy.
it on a monkey, or they're going to blame it on a mosquito.
Right.
Sure, maybe it is, but we made it and we put it in the monkey, we put it in the mosquito, and we let it go into the world,
Right.
right?
Right. Brown Dwarf says too, we can make healthier choices to avoid getting ill also. I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
unless, like if you grow your stuff at home and you know what you're putting on it, it's not chemicals. Although, you could go to the market and, you don't know that something wasn't sprayed with,
yeah,
you know, weed killer or whatever,
yeah.
so
And that's absolutely right. I mean, I grow my own garden. I don't grow a garden because I don't think healthy. Because I like growing stuff. But sure, we all. I mean, let's face it. We're not. Let's be real. We're all our own worst enemies, though.
Mhm.
People smoke. People drink too much. People do drugs. People drive 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
People eat the worst. They eat, a bag of potato chips at midnight before they go to bed, right?
Mhm.
Yes. Can we help our health personally just by making changes ourselves? Absolutely.
To an extent, I think we can.
But let's face it, though. If you remember a chicken breast, when I was a little kid, chicken breasts were no bigger than my hand. Now, if I go to the Kroger or wherever I go find my chicken breasts, they're like 5 pounds.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
They were never that big. And that's
Right.
pumped with steroids
Right.
that
Exactly.
we're eating.
I was going to
Why
say,
are
what
our
are we
kids,
doing those chickens?
I'm not a tall guy. I'm not even 5'9". I'm like I'd say 5'8.5".
hmm
well, how come my brother's kids are all boys and they're all the same size? You're like 6 foot.
Hmm.
The foods that they're eating as babies was much more popped up on steroids than what we ate. We ate more naturally as kids.
Yeah.
These football players,
Mhm.
6'5", 350 pounds, that
Yeah.
run like the wind.
That's a true story though, because I am 5'2". I am short. My ex-husband is 5'9", and my son that we have together, that he and I have together, is 6'2". But I do have tall people on my side of the family. I just got the short straw. But still, it's just kind of weird. How did my son get 6'2"?
Oh yeah, and all these kids, man. I mean, all my friends' kids, they're taller than all of us, the parents.
Right. Right.
You know.
Hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I was just thinking, yeah, I know it sounds simple, you guys. The chicken breast of today is 10 times the size it was
That's true
20
story.
years ago.
I agree. I
I
agree.
could take one chicken breast and I can slice it up into like 6 strips,
Yep.
easily.
Easily. 20
Easy.
years ago, you couldn't.
No, you could cut it in half and maybe
Mhm.
make a half a chicken sandwich.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm telling you, yeah, they've been poisoning us for a long time.
And again, it's just, again, I'm still not going to bash technology and science. Technologies provide a lot of great things for us. It's created a lot of jobs in some industries, right? But for everything that's good about it, I think there's that evil side.
Yeah.
There's people pushing buttons that none of us know who they are. That's the scary
Right.
thing.
As you said earlier, it's the billionaires behind the scenes and
Yeah, and they're not even billionaires; they're trillionaires.
billionaires. Yeah.
They make up all the
Mhm.
wealth in the world.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are, which is a
Mhm.
mystery, which is something cool. I think it's a cool subject. We'll have to do a show on that, and we'll have to do a deep dive into that.
Do you think that
Yes.
they might be getting help from like outer space aliens or three-letter agencies and doing all of these things?
I don't know what I don't know if people believe that aliens gave us technology back in 1947 during that Eisenhower pact that we all, you can go take it one
Mhm.
way or the other. Even Hitler getting the
Yeah.
technology, his there was a point there where his tanks were far superior than our tanks, the Nazi Panzer, and
Right.
we had the Sherman, right? Sherman
Mhm.
tank versus the Panzer.
Mhm.
And the Panzer, Panzer, it could turn on a dime. It could spin around. It
Wow.
moved, and it was very agile. And us as Americans wonder where'd they get
Mhm.
that technology? Because we were the leaders in all this. How
Right.
did this little small podunk country come up with this?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Yeah, we are the leaders, or we thought we were,
Yeah.
but
Well, and
there's
then,
help.
but
I do believe that technology and everything that's going on with the three-letter agencies, I think they have help from the aliens. I do.
hey, listen, I think we get help from. I think certain agencies or governmental
Yeah. Yeah.
platforms get help from something outside of this, something otherworldly.
Right.
Yeah. And people on
And
this show listening to this, and that's why you're here, because we talk about this weird stuff. But I think it's entirely possible. I mean, I don't say nothing's not possible.
here's another thing that's weird. Okay. So you've been on Facebook and so you can sit there and talk about, oh, I need to get some new shampoo. I heard this blankety blank shampoo is the best. Well, then you're scrolling on Facebook and guess what? You start seeing ads for that shampoo.
Oh yeah,
What's
I
up
mean
with that? There it goes back to the technology. Like
the
that,
technology.
that's not right.
Yeah, every time I have a thought, it pops up on my phone.
Right. So what's
And
up with that?
and I told you the creepy story, and this story is I had my phone. This is like last year, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Kroger, and a different Kroger because there's like 2 or 3 where I live, but I was in a hurry, so I went to the closest one because the one that I like better is I have to drive out of my way, but it's only like 10 minutes further. So it's not really out of the way, but I like it nicer. But I just had to get some seasonings, right? And I was in a hurry, and I'm like, man, I got to go to Kroger just for seasonings. Whatever. So, because they didn't have it at the local 7-Eleven, which they don't have crap in there as far as seasonings go, which I found out. So I'm in there, and Chris, I wasn't talking to anybody. I did have my phone on. But here's the thing. I didn't say or ask for help for the seasoning. I thought, I wonder what aisle the seasonings are on. Remember when I told you this? And my phone popped up the Kroger app. And I don't have a Kroger. It wasn't a Kroger app, but it popped up Kroger, aisle 17 seasonings. Go to aisle 17 and sure there they were.
There's no coincidence. There's just something weird. That's the same thing. Goes back to, like Facebook, scrolling through and something you're, just talking about. And then next thing you see ads for it. Like, that's not right.
That's scary. And, here's hi, little Pitty. Hi, everybody for coming in. I'm trying to say hi and type to you guys. So hello to everybody for coming on in. I appreciate you guys. I titled this Shocktober, the start of Shocktober. No, these aren't like creepy Halloween stories. And I got a cool, creepy story. Chris, I don't think you heard it. I'm going to tell you because I want your thoughts on it. So that's going to come up in a minute, everybody, waiting on a cool story. But this is just as terrifying to me as Michael Myers or Dogman, because this is actually
because we're living it.
Being controlled by us. We live it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Not everybody sees Dogman or a ghost.
Right.
Or Bigfoot,
Right.
But everybody in this chat room, everybody listening later, we all experience the same thing.
We are all at risk.
We're all collectively.
Everything we've talked about. We're all at risk.
We're all in this together.
Yep.
Maybe we're not all in it together when it comes to cryptids, but we're all in this together when it comes to we're not in control of our environment. Yeah. We're not in control of our life. I'll be honest with you. We're not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you. Yeah. Wow, what a conversation. You realize we spent almost 40 minutes talking about this.
I can go. It's so fascinating, and we didn't even scratch the surface. So I think maybe down the road, I think we should all put our heads together, come up with a cool show, cover a lot of different topics, get a little more streamlined on it, because we just named about 20 generalizagens.
Yeah, that just think we've read easily be Right. I'd like more information on all of it.
Yeah, me too. And again, we started the show with the climate control. Yeah, I think it's controlled. And I just think it's a shame we don't use it for good. Because to me, a lot of these disasters that are happening, I think they're preventable. I do.
Well, but depends if they're being controlled. If they're being man-made.
Right. I think that's man-made, which if they're man-made, we can control it. If we can make rain and make clouds, doesn't mean we can make a hurricane if we can make a cloud. Think about that.
That's what
think about.
Yep.
We can make a tornado. We can make a tornado.
Right. Well, then you got to think, okay, so let's jump back really quick and then we can move on.
No, that's fine.
You got to think, okay,
I like
so
this.
If they can make rain, right? They are controlling our food, by the plants and things like that. So think about that. That's something to make you think, it is for me anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
if they can make it rain, here's our food. And that's everybody,
And it also goes back to this, which pisses me off. Our farmers, if we can we should not in the United States. I don't care about I'm sorry for everybody listening. I don't care about the other countries. I don't care about China. I care about humanity and good people. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But I care about where I live, the United States.
Right.
And it's shame in our government if they can make rain and they let the farmers suffer and lose their farms because it didn't rain for 3 months when we can damn well make it.
Or this hurricane, look at all the flooding, and then they're not even helping. Ray just told me tonight that people are they're threatening to arrest people for going in and trying to rescue people. Like, what is wrong with that picture? Like, because they're not doing it. So people are taking it upon themselves, and I don't know. I just don't understand. I don't know. He had told me
Yeah.
about somebody with a helicopter went to try to rescue some people that was like stuck on a island that
Oh, I
was
think I've seen
created.
something
Yeah,
similar to that.
yeah. So like, what's up with that? You know?
Getting a rescue for trying to what did I say? Being arrested for trying to rescue somebody.
Right,
Come
right.
on.
Yeah.
Oh,
Real
okay.
Jojo said the government don't offer financial assistance for flood affected communities. They do, however, I feel like they could do a lot more.
Okay. Who was that who said that?
Jojo.
Jojo. Okay. Well, guess what? I tell you what, wasn't tragic, but about 10 years ago, we had a big flood run through where I live. Okay. And I live in a floodplain. So when it rains, we get water all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
My brother had just finished building a house right by me, not too far from me.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a flood from the. You remember that? You know about my creek, the river that
Mm-hmm.
runs through my area. Well, that got backed up and it overflowed into my where I live, and my brother happens to live 3 blocks up the road. His basement got flooded halfway up in the basement,
Mm-hmm.
halfway up, you guys. So we're talking at least 5 feet of
Bad,
water. Okay,
right?
couple things with this story. And he wasn't the only one. Everybody on that side of town lost everything. If you had anything in the basement, and it was feces, and it was basically sewage
Yeah, that's
that got
disgusting.
backed up. So he had spent thousands of dollars. First of all, he lost tens of thousands of dollars on everything
Right?
in the basement, thousands of dollars to fumigate it and kill everything because he had no idea. So he spent money on this.
Mm-hmm.
And so FEMA was to give money assistance to all these people.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother calls his insurance company for assistance, and you know what he went down there and almost killed somebody. And I don't blame. You know what they told him?
Mm-mm.
The insurance company, and they kind of laughed as he's bitching about assistance to help him.
Yeah.
They said, "At least you have riverfront property."
Wow.
Oh,
That's awful. Huh.
yeah. So, and also during this time, CNN. This was so bad that CNN was at my brother's house and he was on TV and interviewed on CNN. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah, he's got the film. He kept all that from way back when. So all this assistance, this is literally millions of dollars of lost for these. This, not too far from me, my brother finally got his FEMA check 7 years after.
Hmm.
7 years.
Did they pay him interest?
They gave him $3,000.
Wow.
Come on.
It $3,000. That's
Yeah.
it.
He spent over 50
That's
out of his
awful.
pocket.
Wow.
So government assistance right there, So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, at least in that particular case, right?
True. It's true. Yep.
So
I don't
terrible.
know.
So
It is. It's really, really bad. I seen where like country singer Morgan Wallen, I think he donated like $500,000, and I've seen several others that are donating over there.
and again, I love people that donate if you can afford it. The rich. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. That's another pet peeve of mine. Not nearly amount. All the money that the United States, the rich of the wealthiest of the wealthy in the United States, why don't they donate it to us? They
Yeah.
donate it to other countries. Yeah,
Right. Right. Exactly.
you know.
Yeah. It's
We have
awful.
homeless here where I live.
Mm-hmm.
Can't we set them up a place to live?
Right.
We're going to do it for all these other third world countries, though.
Yeah.
Again, I'm all for humans. I'm a man. I'm a fan of man. Don't get me wrong. Take care of us first, because this is where we live, right?
Right.
If we had to go to war, we would fight for our country,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
but yeah. So again, with a lot of crazy, cool topics, we'll have to come up with something, break something down here.
Didn't
Yeah,
mean to
Charlie
get
says no one's
political,
to tell me who
but,
I can, huh?
So didn't mean to get political or anything.
Well, no, it's all right. I mean, we can't. It's not. It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's nothing out of bounds. Nothing.
Yeah.
I've said worse stuff with Jason. Charlie says no one's to tell me who I can and can't help. Period. Yeah, I agree with that.
Mhm.
No one's to tell me that either. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not a fan of helping out people that are not our own, but that you can do what you want. I'm not suggesting that's Charlie. I'm just anybody, right?
Yeah.
But
hmm
so
If I had the extra means and, money
yeah.
like a lot of these people, I would definitely would be
Hey,
donating.
listen, I tell you what, if I was a millionaire, I would help out the United States. And yeah, would I send to some other countries? Probably,
hmm
but I take
Our
care of the homeland.
allies.
Our allies. Yeah, our allies. I would do that. If I was like super rich, I would. Don't get me wrong, I would. But it just
hmm
burns me that we have problems right here in our own backyard.
hmm
And we see
As
more
does
and more
every country. They have their own problems.
every country. And for
Yeah.
us not to get in it, for my brother, perfect example, big deal.
Yeah,
Can't
three
help him.
grand, 7 years later, like I'd
Oh,
I'd
and
have sent that back. Honestly, I would have sent that back.
yeah, I don't know what he did. He probably went gamble it away, so screw it,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
here's another weird thing about that is, people got septic, people got sick, people died over that.
hmm
And I'm in my neighborhood.
Yeah. So
Mold. People couldn't afford to have their houses taken care of, and people actually got mold, and some people died. 2 or 3 people,
yeah.
got very sick, very sick.
And that's the thing too, like mold.
Yeah, I know.
won't
Yeah,
keep
Charlie,
my
I know.
mouth shut. Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I did this video the other day. I dropped it. I don't know if you saw it. First of all, talking about creepy, I did a story last year, 2 years ago. I wrote a story, a true story. I had to do the research for this guy. I'm not going to mention, for who, about the Bennington Triangle. Okay.
hmm
And this is out like the Green Mountains of Vermont, and a lot of it runs through Quebec. It runs through a vast mountain range and covers a couple United States and part of Canada. In the Bennington Triangle, I'm not going to talk about this, but there's been many mysterious disappearances. Okay. Especially back in the early 1900s, early 1800s. In fact, it dates back to the 1600s, KRISTA, where the land was cursed by tribal nations, supposedly.
hmm
Supposedly, there was also black magic performed, witchcraft was performed.
Yeah.
Because what had happened was settlers way back in the day were taking over this land, and the indigenous and others were upset about this. So they would literally attack and kill the settlers. Okay.
Wow.
But this was at the hills of the Green Mountains, and this provided many rich resources for the new people, for the settlers. Rivers, you got, plenty of animals, fauna, the woods to build houses. So a perfect uncharted area way back in the day. And finally, enough settlers came in where they could defend themselves against the original indigenous. Okay. So a hex was put on this land, and every night, every 3 years, once every 3 years from the mountains, you would hear a howling coming down and a roar from the mountain range, and it would take out the settlers. They would get sick. They would get cast down with some sort of sickness, and they would die.
hmm
Okay. 100, and then that went away, and still settlers overtook this. And then, like 100 years later, or 200 years later, there was the legend of this beast-like creature that roamed the Green Mountains. And there was a story about this stagecoach going through. There was about 6 people on the stagecoach driver, and this 9-foot creature came out and ripped this stagecoach to pieces. Did not kill anybody, but it made its presence known, and issued a message to all the settlers to get out, or this havoc would be brought down upon them. Now, this later becomes the Bennington Triangle. So now back in the late 1900s, going into the 1940s, this is an area, you can look this up online, missing people. There's been at least 6 or a dozen missing people that have vanished in the forest and never found. In some instances, their clothes have been found, but they simply are gone. Okay.
Wow.
There was also, I found this out later, there was also, they say, an aquatic beast, a river beast, that was cast into the river that would attack people, but never really be seen. Just, like some prints of this sort of wandering, oversized amphibian, like a webbed foot or whatever. So, and I knew this a couple of years ago, but just by doing the research. So, about 2 months ago, I got this email from this guy, right? That he happened to be in Vermont, or not in Vermont. He was actually just outside of Quebec on this river with his friend. Now, he and his friend, they would always for the last 7 years. Well, this happened in 1995, so they had been going there for like a 7-year period. They love fishing. They love to fish this particular river just outside of the Bennington Triangle. So one night, it's like the 8th time they were there in 7 years, and they're out fishing. And then it was a great day. They caught their catch of fish, and they were getting ready to go back in. But all of a sudden, an unusual wave was circling around their boat. But it was weird because there was no other waves out in the river. It just happened to circle around the boat. And they get up and they're looking, and they go, and the boat couldn't move. It was kind of in place. They weren't drifting or anything. And so they're looking in the water. And then they heard this repetitive knocking on the underside of their boat, right? And so they were thinking that here's the problem. We're caught on some rocks. Mm-hmm. So the turbulence and wherever the waves, they didn't know what the waves were from, but they figured, hey, around some rocks, this repetitive knocking, they're caught up on something. And then they broke free. It broke free. So, but they were caught up for about a good 5 or 10 minutes. And so one of the guys in the story, he happened to be a former Army guy or Ranger. He happened to know Morse code. They were sitting at a campfire, that night, and they were planning their day to go back fishing the next morning. But they were really trying to figure out where in the hell what happened. That was just so strange. It was so odd. It was almost like they were held in place because they weren't caught on anything. It was almost like they were let go. Okay. And then the one buddy had made mention, he said it sounded like the knocking on the boat reminded him of some sort of cadence, like a Morse code cadence. He goes, yeah, I was getting that feeling when I could hear this, not bum 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 bum,
Mm-hmm.
tapping, right? And then they kind of laughed it off, and they're like, well, let's just go to bed and prepare for our next day. So they drift off to sleep. The next morning, they wake up, and they're out. They get up, they get out of their tents, and they're walking around their campsite, where they notice a bunch of human footprints in their camping area. Now, he says to me, the human footprints, they were like just that, human footprints. It was an average size foot, maybe 8, 9, or 10 foot, but it was barefoot, naked. Well, not naked foot, right? And
no shoe.
No shoe. Yes, thank you. So they're like, who in the hell would be walking through our camp without shoes on?
Right.
Makes no sense.
No.
I mean, first of all, you don't walk through a man's camp, and even now you don't at nighttime. You might get shot. Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they're just, and they said, this is very odd. Who, whatever. I mean, maybe a lot. Then they're thinking on the positive side,
Right.
Maybe it was somebody lost. Not that that's positive, of course, but maybe they're thinking, "Oh my gosh, maybe there's a lost soul out here." So they
Mm-hmm.
start following these tracks, and these tracks led to the river. As they're following the tracks to the river, all of a sudden something unusual turned up. The human feet, the toes kind of splayed further apart, and it almost appeared like there was a webbing between the toes as it went right into
Mm-hmm.
the river.
Interesting.
And they're like, wow, this is odd, right? What the hell's
Yep.
going on with this?
Yep.
So they kind of got a little chill, I mean, who wouldn't, right? So like, wow. So they go back to their campsite and they're pounding, they're thinking about what was going on here. What's going on here? So they said, well, you know what? Let's not let it wreck our day. Let's go back out fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So they get their stuff together. They get their tackle together. They go out to their boat. Like I said, it's like an aluminum. They said it's like an aluminum 8-foot boat or whatever. Back out. They're out on the river for a couple hours. Everything's fine. Everything's great. And now again, they get their load of fish. And now they're getting ready to go back in. And much like the last time, these swirling like waves, the guy says almost like a magnet was holding them in place. And these are the only waves around the boat. Again, the rest of the river's clear. The waves are holding them in place. And here goes that repetitive knocking on the other side of their boat. They get up. They can't see anything once again, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned earlier, the one guy thought it seemed like a Morse code. So this guy was
Right.
kind of a sharp guy. He actually, the second trip out, he just, for whatever reason, Krista, he brings a paper and pencil with him on the boat. They're not moving. They can't break free of this, but here's this tapping, and this guy's jotting down, taking notes, because, again, he knows Morse code.
Right.
But again, they look out, they see nothing, then all of a sudden they're broken free. And they again get back to their camp. So the buddy says, "Hey man, I saw you're taking the notes. Can you decipher what it says?" And they're sitting down. He goes, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. A lot of it I can't make out." And then he finally gets some of the message at least deciphered. And he looks at his buddy, says, "Man, this is kind of creepy." And part of the deciphered message that he got, it said, "Please help me. Please help me. I was in your camp and I am forever cursed."
That's creepy.
And they're like, "What?" And
Right.
so his partner was saying to his buddy, "Are you making that up?" He goes, "No,
Right.
he's piecing this together. He picks out the words, 'Please help me. Camp at your camp cursed.'" So they're like, "Man, there was someone at their camp that night, the human feet that turned into the webbed toes leading to the river. A hoax? I don't think so. I don't think anybody can. I mean, you're not going to be able to pull off the stunt that they pulled off in the river, right, with the boat.
Right.
No one can do that."
So what do you think
So,
that was?
well, they did some research and they found that where they were at was haunted and cursed land. And the reason I started the show with the Bennington Triangle being cursed and haunted, and back in the 1800s, there was a legend of a aquatic creature.
Interesting.
So putting two and two together, maybe this was an actual cursed person that had a hex cast on them.
Yeah. Could very
And
well.
and maybe it was looking for help. But then if you break it down though, sure, it's probably looking for help, but how in the hell can these two yahoos help? I mean, where
Right.
would you even go to help somebody or the
Or
mess?
something. Yeah.
You know?
Like I wouldn't even know where to begin. Because well, one thing, like you got to figure out like what it was, what it is. Like no telling what you'd be helping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, helping what? I mean,
Yeah.
is this a trickster that wants you to help? I mean,
Right.
helping it could make it worse on you for one. You don't know what you're
Mhm.
dealing with. But first of all, they're two average Joes.
Could it be a shapeshifter? You know?
Well, here's the thing. If we break this down and go back to the beginning, getting stopped in that swell of waves, it's like a magnet held them there. Nothing was holding it down. Nothing. So
Mhm.
that was something paranormal right there, right? I mean, they wasn't caught on rocks like they thought initially. There was no brush hung up on, nothing. They were held there with these weird waves, and then that tapping on the boat. Then it was released. Later on that night, they wake up the next morning, human prints turn into like these web toe like prints. Then they go back out. Same thing happens, and then he thinks it's some sort of Morse code, deciphers it. So if you look at all those things, I don't know. I think that I don't know where to begin with that. If you and I are out there and we believe in the paranormal
Mhm.
and that we experienced that, we're back at camp, we wouldn't know where to start with that. Help with what? I guess first thing
Right.
we do is start investigating the land, the river,
Yeah.
to get the history on it,
What,
right?
where, when, how, all of it, you
And
know?
even if we came to the conclusion that it was some guy that maybe was hacked and turned into a shapeshifter, how are we going to help him?
Right. What are we supposed to do? Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't think I could help them. They're
I
beyond
don't
my
know
help.
that I don't know that I want to, man. I listen. I'm all for helping people,
Me too.
but
But
when you don't know what you're helping, I mean, we don't let the voodoo be
right,
cast on us.
right. Speaking of like aquatics, cryptids, like I
Mhm.
gotta tell you that those things scare me. I like to swim. And we got, lakes and all that here that we get in and swim. But man, I've never thought about like something underneath there and pull you down. Oh no. Oh heck no.
Yeah. Oh, it was funny. Werewolf says creature from the Black Lagoon.
There you go.
Actually, the thumbnail, you guys, it's a better. Yeah, I did the video. If you guys want to check it out, and the thumbnail has got a cool picture of the creature from the Black Lagoon. I used as the thumbnail.
It works.
Yeah, and but yeah, so and I gotta tell you, it's kind of strange though. And I tell you what, the Bennington Triangle's cursed land. I did a
Mhm.
research paper on that, right? And let
Right.
me tell you, the Bennington Triangle in Vermont is very creepy. A lot of mysterious happenings. I know I've heard that story about the creature attacking that wagon. I've heard about the cursed land there. I've heard about every 3 years or so you get the whispering sounds coming from the
Mhm.
mountains that plagued the people and infected people with
Right.
disease. It would come through there. So I will tell you what I do believe in. I believe in hexes and curses. I believe in cursed and haunted lands. I do.
Oh yeah, most definitely I do too. Without a doubt.
And how would I or you or anybody else help somebody that's cursed? We don't have the authority. We don't have the knowledge, do
I
we?
mean, curses can be broke. Um, you have to get to the root cause of the curse. They can be broke, but like I said, is it? I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
first of all, if you can't, okay, first of all, whatever this thing was, you can't break a curse if you can't see what you're trying to help.
right, and you
So
have to
let's
find
say,
out what the root cause is.
oh, very good.
Like who
I
put it.
used to use root cause analysis back at Ford Motor Company. Wow. Nice big word there.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, yeah, good job. I'm impressed, Krista. God, it reminds me of my days at Ford now. Root cause analysis. Jeez, oh, Pete's. But yes, breaking it down, the root cause analysis, get to the root of the problem, come up with the
Yeah.
hypotheses to figure it out. But,
Mhm.
I guess you'd have to meet that shape shifting person as a human and get his
Yeah.
backstory, which is never going to happen.
No.
Shape
No.
shifting people are not going to communicate with a human.
No, they're not going to sit and hang out with you and tell you their life
I'm
story.
not going to hang out with them anyway.
No, me
Do you
either.
want to hang? Do you want to go have dinner with a shapeshifter, Krista? Ask me. Yes or no?
Not at all. No.
All of a sudden, they're a human being, then they turn into a monster and eat us for dessert. I don't want that.
Right. No, thank you. I'm good.
Now,
I'm
I
good.
certainly would like to help the poor fellow. It reminds me of the poor Kurt. The story. If anyone saw the Lon Chaney Jr. movie, The Werewolf, we've all seen the black and white, the very original werewolf. with Lon Chaney, the black and white, where his dad has to
Right.
kill him.
Yeah.
That's a sad story. That was not a horror story. That was a sad
Yeah.
story
Sad story.
about a
Yeah.
man that was cursed by the gypsies.
Yeah.
And,
It's been a long time
unfortunately,
since I've seen that. That's an oldie there.
I think you know what I'm gonna do tonight. Since
You
I
gonna
already
what?
drank, I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna look on YouTube. I bet you can find it,
Oh yeah, for sure.
especially since it is Shocktober.
It is. All the good
I,
scary movies will be coming out.
they're coming out. Yeah, they are. Gonna have a lot of cool shows this month. We all are. You are. In fact, we got to throw together. I don't know if we got it on the agenda to have a big Halloween show. We should have with all of us.
Well,
Whoever. I don't care whose
Halloween is a
channel.
Blondes and Booze night. It's a Thursday night. However,
Halloween. Well, yeah, Thursday. Okay.
I won't be at my Halloween show. I'm going out with my granddaughter and my kids.
Well, no, of course
So-
you will be.
So
Well,
maybe
no. Well, last
if
year
you
we
could
did
do it
Halloween.
here
Well, no, we could. Well,
on
last
the
year though.
Tuesday.
We did Halloween shows not only on Halloween last year. We did them on the weekend too. I mean,
Mhm.
the week of Halloween, people love Halloween shows, so don't
Oh,
you have to be exactly on Halloween.
Are you dressing up?
I don't know yet. I doubt it.
I am, because at work they're doing dressing up things.
Oh, they're doing it at work.
I'm not telling you what I'm going to be, but it's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, I do pass out candy. I'm not,
I might show up on your show dressed.
Well, actually, is Halloween on Thursday?
It is.
Which is, well, I don't have a show Thursday afternoon.
I know, but maybe like your Tuesday night show
Well, maybe.
or Halloween.
Yeah.
Jojo said, "I wish it was more celebrated here." I think she's in Australia. I didn't realize that.
Jojo is from Australia.
Mhm.
Jojo, the weather clouds. I understand they use those in Australia. What we were talking, I don't know how long you've been here, Jojo. I saw that Australia uses the manufactured clouds. What are they called again? Brown Dwarf told us.
Seating.
What the
Is
hell
it the seating?
Huh?
Seating or something?
Cloud seeding. Yes,
Cloud
that's
seating,
what it was.
yeah.
Jojo, cloud seeding, Australia. They claim that they do. Oh, she says I don't know. Well, I read just today that they do use cloud seeding in your country.
Wow.
So you might want to check that out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know it's hot in Australia.
Yeah.
I guess.
Wow.
So I've never been. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jason says Dr. Dennis Carroll will be hanging with us too. I think you have him on earlier on brunch that day, and actually on Halloween.
No, I got Dennis is on with us on Tuesday night. Next Tuesday.
Okay. Well, we have Dennis actually on Blondes and Booze on Halloween night. Brandy will be there, but
yes, Dennis.
We won't.
Dennis Carroll is a hot commodity for
Yeah,
Halloween.
he's great.
He is the best.
Not just
And I don't
Halloween
care.
time. Yeah.
No, he's the best, but I book him every Halloween, and I have him on 3 times a year anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Just because Dennis Carroll
too.
is wonderful, man. He's just
He
I
can
love
talk
when he
about anything. He's another one that can talk
he
about
can
anything.
talk about anything and everything.
Yep.
And he's great. So
Yeah.
he'll be on my show. And it don't matter. I can watch Dennis back to back. I can watch Dennis 5 days a week. In fact, Dennis has a show, Hunting the Shadows, on YouTube. Go check it out, everybody.
Yeah.
Quick throw out to Dennis Carroll, Hunting the Shadows podcast.
Yep.
Found on YouTube. Very cool. Very cool.
Since we're on the Halloween kick, don't mean to change the subject.
Yeah,
We can
go
get
ahead.
back to it. But people are commenting different scary movies. What's your favorite all-time scary movie?
Boy, I will say this. Today, not so much anymore because I've seen it so many times, which sucks about great movies. If we're sticking just with the Halloween basis, and I'm not a slasher guy,
Mm-hmm.
however, a movie that I could watch, not The Exorcist, which, as you know, I could not watch.
Mm-hmm.
A movie that scared me, but I liked the story behind it, was the original Michael Myers Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think it was because of the music.
Yep.
And I have an interesting story behind that, if you'd like to hear really quick.
Absolutely.
John Carpenter made it. He was the director, the writer. John Carpenter also a very gifted in the music field. He could just write music. Okay.
Yeah.
So they did that entire movie with the whole movie with no music, not the piano, the eerie piano music. The music was not in it, and it was just a B movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and the actress, and they went
Hmm.
through the whole thing. So they had a premiere of it, Krista. The premiere of that movie with no music, and that was a low budget film. It flopped, and
Wow.
he thought he wrote a masterpiece.
Hmm.
Okay, and I'm talking about the exact same movie that we've all seen,
Yeah.
but it was premiered without the music. And he's trying to figure
Wow.
out why this movie is blowing. We're not doing it, making money. People don't like it for whatever the reason. He came up with that theme and then he edited it and spliced it into the movie. It went from just because of that one thing he did, it took that movie from being a dog with fleas to a major blockbuster
Yeah. Isn't
that
that crazy?
season just because of the music. And I got to tell you what,
Hmm.
genius for one. And yeah,
Yeah.
that music
Yeah.
gets me every time.
Same thing. You sit back and you watch those movies now.
Yeah.
Like Friday the 13th is another one because of the music. When someone's getting
Yeah.
ready to die.
Yeah.
Uh, you sit back and you watch them now. That and Halloween, and I think JoJo mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Really, how dumb they are and how low budget they really are.
Yeah.
Man, back in the day, they were something else.
Well, here's the thing with those movies: the very first original Halloween, the very first original Camp Crystal Lake with Jason,
Hmm.
the original very first Nightmare on Elm Street. Those three, they're
Yeah,
good.
the
And
originals.
the
Yep.
three
That's
originals
it.
of all those are great.
Yep.
Again, my problem today, they were out when we were kids. Unfortunately, I've seen them so many times that they just don't do it
Mhm.
for me anymore.
Right.
Because unfortunately, you wear it out like an old pair of socks, right? Time to
Yeah.
get rid of it.
I'm going to have to sit down and watch Friday the 13th and Halloween again, the originals. I'm going to make a point to do that this month again.
Well, I tell you what, despite me saying the original Halloween, I do make a point to watch every year if it's on TV.
Yeah.
I do.
They're
I do like the Blade series. Yes,
I
Chris
was just going to say
Christopherson
that.
passed
Yeah.
away.
That was
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
So sad. But yeah, there's some good movies out there. Somebody else said Van Helsing, the Jaws music. Oh, yeah.
Well, I tell you what, they classify that as horror, but that's my top 3 as far as favorite
Jaws.
movies go. I love Jaws. Yes.
Yeah, I like Jaws too. Jaws is pretty
And
creepy,
again,
man. It's like, get out of the damn water, people. You know it's
the
coming.
music. When I was a little kid, my mom and dad took me to see that. And you know what scared me the most? And yeah, by the way, that's again a movie that I can watch over and over again.
Mhm.
And in fact, it's on Netflix, but I didn't click on it because I said, man, I just don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
But the thing that freaked me out the most when I was a little kid at the movies, you see everyone's dangling. They had the water, the ocean was halfway up the theater screen, and then the legs were dangling in the water. And I had always thought, oh my God, the shark's going to come and bite off their legs.
Right.
But that never did happen. But
Right.
that kept me thinking through the whole movie. I mean, I was pretty young too when I saw that, but
Yeah.
it was pretty creepy.
Yeah. Another one that I liked was Pet Cemetery, but I like Stephen King. I like all his stuff.
I love Stephen King. I watch all his stuff inside. They say the movies on TV aren't that good, but I get into them.
Yeah, it's the older movies though that we're sitting here talking about that people are commenting. Those are the good movies, the good horror flicks.
Yeah, the older ones are the better ones.
Yeah.
This stuff that's made in 2024, the horror movies, whatever. It's still original.
Yeah, it's not like it's all different now.
I'm
gonna have to go back and watch some 70s and 80s horror flicks. I am gonna totally make a point to. Yeah, The Shining.
The Shining, red rum.
Yep.
Yeah. And that was so weird because I snuck in to see that movie.
Did you?
I was underage. Yeah. We got tickets to see, I think it was Airplane. Or I don't know what movie. I might have been that movie. And then we kind of snuck out, me and my 2 buddies. We went in and saw The Shining.
Mm-hmm.
The Shining that scared me the most was, well, the red rum. When I heard them saying that when I was a kid, I was older,
Mm-hmm.
but not quite old enough to go to the movie. Right, we're still under that age back in the day.
Yeah.
And red rum, I said, "Oh my god, that's murder." I remember thinking in my head.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
creepiest part was that beautiful chick in the bathtub where he gets up and starts making out with her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was rated R, 'cause she was nude.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
then he starts hugging her and kissing her. Then it turned into that old,
Yeah.
ugly, burnt up witch.
Yep.
Oh,
Hag.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Oh, man. That
Yep.
made me jump out of my seat. That was not really scary, but very. I was just thinking, man. Ugh.
Gross.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even the burnt body in Jaws that dropped onto Chief Brody and fell on him, and he fell into the ocean with a dead
Mm-hmm.
burnt body on him. That would creep me out too.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Ooh, man.
Yeah. Wow. And also another good one that I like. Like I said, I'm a huge Stephen King fan, but Silver
Yes.
Bullet was a good movie too.
I like that. There's not too many good werewolf movies. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm. One I like.
I like that, and I haven't seen in a long time those American Werewolf in London movies. I understand they're pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they were. I think the original Howling
Mm-hmm.
with the original Howling a year.
Yeah.
Whenever
The
that
older
came out.
one. Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty good. T.
Yeah.
Wallace, I think that's her name. Was
Yeah. Yep.
that was good.
She's a very nice lady. I actually met her when I spoke at Scarefest. She was one of the people there.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mhm.
well. I
Very
just
nice
seen
guy.
her on Facebook next to the original werewolf standing next to it. Boy,
Oh,
it's towered over.
yeah. Well, that's why she was there. She was because of that. It was,
Yeah.
Scarefest. So, yeah, it was really cool. I've got a picture with her.
Well, that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. An
Yeah.
iconic. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis, the iconic scream
I like
queen,
her
right?
too. Mhm.
Unfortunately, with the Halloween movies, they made so many. I mean, I think there might have been one other later movie that I kind of liked.
Mhm.
And then they did Halloween H2O, Season of the Witch. Had
Yep.
nothing to do with
Jason
Michael
said
Myers.
that.
Who
What
said that?
about somebody also said something about Freddy versus Jason? Did you see that one?
I didn't see the whole movie. I did not.
I actually went to the movies and seen that. That's many years ago.
I started getting turned off when it was Jason in outer space. Jason takes
Yeah,
Manhattan.
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
agree. It's getting too far fetched.
It's just taking something and just ruining it.
The first two, let's just give it credit for two.
No, I tell you what,
Because
all
the
of them.
second one kind of goes into, on a lot of things.
No,
But
I like
after
the first
that-
two of all. Like we said, Halloween, Freddy, and Jason. The
Yep.
first two, maybe the third. What I liked about Halloween, it really had a good story. I liked Dr. Loomis was like my favorite character.
Mhm.
It was a great story
Mhm.
behind Jason
Yeah.
or Michael
Absolutely.
Myers.
Michael Myers. Mhm.
Great story. The same with really Jason
Yeah.
and Freddy. Even those are good stories. They weren't just shock. They weren't just shock value. There was actual someone that had to think and come up with a cool plot versus just
Yeah.
hack up a town.
Yep.
There was a story behind these maniacs.
Right. Right.
So that's what I like. Today it's
Yeah.
just like, hack up some people. Just like that commercial, all those dumb kids.
Mm-hmm.
There's some guy hiding behind, hey, let's go, runs into the barn. But there's a running car out there. Hell no, I'm not going in the car. And they run into the barn. And then the killer shakes his head like, what a bunch of dummies.
Like,
You ever see
it's
that commercial?
coming.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, the thing too with like Friday the 13th, like back in the day, it was Camp Crystal Lake, and so
Yeah. Oh, this Amy brings up. She was talking to Big Bird.
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, original again. Man, that I tell you what, that one gave me the creeps. Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing, Jason Fincher. I love Peter Cushing. I like all of his movies. Him and my favorite vampire, Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee, my favorite vampire. I like the old ones. Man,
Me too. Seriously, I'm gonna be watching a lot of movies this month.
Yeah, just thinking about just doing this, talking about this last few minutes it's getting me ready for Halloween now, man. There's a lot I want to look at. I like the older ones.
Hmm.
I know that I'll probably end up watching Halloween because I typically do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Saw. That's a good slasher one.
That's a good slasher one.
Yeah. You know
If
the
they
thing.
got, oh God,
I'll definitely watch some. And do you and you know when I was a kid, I would not watch these by myself, but now it's like it doesn't even bother me anymore to sit here at home by myself and watch these movies.
well,
Not
I
at all.
can watch those by myself, but
Yeah.
what I can't watch by myself is the demonic stuff,
Hmm.
possession.
Yeah.
I can't watch the Evil Dead by myself. The original
Mhm.
Evil Dead movie with
Yeah.
the demons in the basement,
No, can't watch
and then
that.
the forest that rapes the girl. I mean, no, 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 no.
No. Yeah.
Can't do it by myself. I need somebody here with me.
Yeah.
I watched it for the first time as a teenager in a house with a bunch of friends.
Hmm.
Like there's like 12 of us.
Yeah.
Turn out the lights. We watched it. It was a bootleg video we got tape.
Oh wow.
So we thought, oh wow, we got some creepy stuff. I gotta tell you what, man, it was
Yeah.
creepy. That kind of disturbed me for a little bit. And I
Right.
was with a group of people.
Hmm. Yeah. That's creepy. We used to like have slumber parties and we'd watch scary
Yeah.
movies and things like that.
Oh yeah.
You know, Ristol said something about Legend of Boggy Creek. You know that there's a couple scenes that's pretty creepy in that movie.
The original one.
Yeah,
I think the
that's
one
where the
that's
guy's sitting on the toilet.
yeah, I remember. Is that where
Yeah,
you reached your hand in, or was that on the train?
yeah, he should hand in. That's
Yeah.
and I couldn't imagine that. You know.
Can you imagine that in real life? I mean, can you imagine if that happened to you?
Yeah,
Maybe
no.
not sitting on a toilet. That'd be scary. But just sitting in a trailer, sitting in your house in a window, and all of a sudden a big hand comes through and grabs you.
You got to think back then in the day when all that actually did take place. You know, they didn't have air conditioning and things like that, so they had windows open and you know
Yeah,
scary stuff. And as poor community, they might not have had screens back then or been able to afford screens.
yeah. No, for sure. I agree with you. And here's the thing with Charlie. Well, Charlie says I've seen so many scary movies I don't get scared anymore. Or jump scared, and that's a different thing
Hmm.
altogether.
It
I
is.
tell you what, that's true. But the thing that scares me, I've said this, I've told you this a lot, Krista. The thing that scares me, and it doesn't have to be graphic or not, slasher movies don't scare me.
Mhm.
Jason, Halloween, they don't scare me. The things that are real. Yeah, could there be a murderous dude that hacks up people? Well, yeah, they're in our
Mhm.
world today and they happen every day. The
Yeah.
thing that scares me is that demonic. I believe in God, I believe in the devil. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe, well, if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. I worship God, I
Hmm.
don't worship the devil. The thing
Right.
that has to do with Satan and possession and demons, see, that to me, that's a whole nother ball game. That scares me.
Yeah.
Even reading about it scares me. You know what I mean? Me
Hmm. Oh,
personally.
I do. I get you.
And but that's true horror for me. And
Hmm.
I can't do that stuff by myself. I can't.
Yeah. I
And
see.
then
It doesn't really bother me. I just.
I just don't like the thought that that thing can enter my house or my body. It
Only
can.
if
I
you
mean,
allow it.
only if I let it, right?
Hmm. Yep. Yeah.
And I get all that. It's all your intent. But
Yep. Yep.
but
But
still creepy because it can happen.
it
But
can.
hey, but you know what? There are slasher human beings out there today, just like Michael Myers,
Hmm.
that are evil and they kill people.
Yeah.
Now they're not, you. But if you shoot them, they die. Unlike Michael. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, anyway, this was a lot of fun. We started out talking about, I enjoyed this whole show. I mean, a lot of things we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I
We just
think
were
would
all
be
over the place tonight.
all over the place. And I think the topics, the things that we talked earlier, I think maybe it'd be good for like at the end of after October. October's gonna be all everybody. October, I think is gonna be all creepy, scary stuff all October, and all the shows I
Yeah.
think probably are gonna be that way. But
Hmm.
those are some good topics to get down the road. And I got 3 cool guests back to back to back on Tuesdays, and I know that Chris is gonna have a lot of cool guests with Brandy
You
on the
do.
Blondes
You
and the Booze. If you are new here, please subscribe to the Blondes and Booze.
do.
Bigfoot Mr. Rob, Texas Front Porch. Paranormal Paul, he's in the house. Subscribe to him too, buddy.
Yep.
And So yeah, I had a good time. I had a great show. This was fun.
Yeah,
I liked it.
that's fun. I like these kind of shows, just
I like the
talking about
impromptu.
anything and everything and all over.
I sometimes like these shows better than having on a guest because you don't have to think. You
Right.
just talk. You
Yeah,
know.
we're just BSing.
Yep. And
Yep.
that's what we all like to do. We have a nice little community of chatters that like to come on in and just chat along with us. I appreciate all you guys.
Yeah,
I do. I know KRISTA does as well.
absolutely.
Most of you follow both of us anyways, which is
Mhm.
always awesome.
Yep.
So
We
thanks
have
for that.
Sir Brian Bowden Thursday night on our show.
Excellent. Yeah, I love Brian. He's
Me too.
awesome. That's another guy. I can watch him 5 days a week
Me too.
because it's always different. It's always entertaining. It's always informative. There's certain people that I can watch every day.
Yeah.
And certain people I'll watch once every 2 months. It's just the way
Yep.
that goes, you know.
Yep. I hear you. That's it.
Well, yeah, so we do have some great stuff coming up for all you guys. I appreciate all of you for coming on in.
Hmm. I like for your mind to seize comment. Did you see that?
No, what she say? Or he, I don't know. For
She said, talking about the Legend of Boggy Creek, that scene. Yep, that scene on the toilet. Lived in the country and had the toilet with the windows behind it. Was terrifying for years. I was the fastest pooper in the family.
I bet you were, yeah. I feel your mind. I saw your picture. Yeah, I know you're a girl. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, I had a lot of fun. Hope everybody out there enjoyed. Hey, leave a thumbs up, you guys. That helps promote the shows. Thumbs up, like it again.
Yeah,
I do appreciate it on your way out.
Yes.
With that being said, I just got to find the extra music. Thank you, KRISTA. I'll talk to you
Yep.
well in a couple of days, I'm sure. All right.
Yep.
See
See y'all.
everybody.